The climate crisis affects us all.
Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
And we all have the power to help solve it.
We are living at a critical moment of history.
The science community all around the world has been telling us for a long time we have to, yes, but let's take a look at why.
The debate about climate change may as well go on forever. But whether or not there is such thing as climate crisis is not what this video is about. Although earthly politics may have a different agenda for the outcome of this volatile topic, what prophecy says about the end of this earth should spark a curiosity that would pique the interest of even the most devout political follower. This video will not try to convince you that there is or is not a climate crisis, but instead that there may be a third issue that most have never even thought of. The climate change movement has progressed with great intentions, like improving air quality, the ozone, and cleaning up the environment. After all, who wouldn't want a cleaner planet? But we don't need a green-haired, silver-skinned alien to help us fix our environment. But that might be exactly what we get.
Today on Cosmic Disclosure, we're with Ricardo Gonzalez, a Peruvian author and researcher who has experienced multiple direct contacts with an extraterrestrial species called the Apunians. Today, we are talking about alien agendas. Ricardo, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Have the Apunians shared with you anything about the upcoming future?
These beings have talked to us about many things, about the different possibilities in what we call future. They told us that humanity was going to face a series of difficult processes at this time, where we would face climate changes that would be more intense with time, wars in places that have important energy interests for major powers, plagues and diseases and attempting to successfully overcome them. When we speak of Spanish flu, which happened long ago and killed close to 60 million people, and we're talking about 1918, and when you analyze those circumstances that happened on the planet, they seem so long ago, and that they could not happen again. Like an unimaginable story, that couldn't have happened. It won't happen again. This generation is living through it now. Of course, with fewer deaths than with what we call the Spanish flu, but a good portion of the world shut down, full of fear and worry, the economy being destroyed in this global world, and it's taken us time to face this pandemic or whatever. What would happen if we add major climate change to this? That would affect our resources, our food. All these things are happening now, and the extraterrestrials that are in contact with us had already warned us that between 2020 and 2027 were going to be key years for our species. So in these 7 years that we're going through right now, according to the space of time that these extraterrestrial beings transmitted to me so that we may analyze ourselves, learn, and change, this is a great opportunity to transform ourselves or to fall. There's an interesting detail that I would like to share. I've been talking about this for many years. It's in several documentaries, on TV, in my books. You know that here in the United States, a countdown clock was set up in New York City, in the middle of Manhattan. A climate clock, marking the point of no return, the deadline, the year 2027. And they put it there in New York City, right in front of our nose. The United Nations models also specify the year 2025 to 2027 for action to be taken. If not, we're in for trouble. So we're living in the years of great transformation, the great change, and we have to face it without fear, because fear will control you.
Although it's interesting that these demonic spirits have labeled this decade for some major events, this has happened before. Demonic entities are not all-knowing. They are only good at calculating. And sometimes they're way off. I want to emphasize that we cannot lean on the words of anything but what God's Word says in the Bible. What is obvious to me, though, is that although there is some truth that dumping tons of fossil fuels into the atmosphere is dangerous, the bigger concern is that demonic spirits will use climate change to explain why the Earth is going through these terrible catastrophes in the future. Catastrophes which demon spirits have caused themselves. For more information about these catastrophes, see my previous documentary called Starfall on this channel. To me, this clip only serves to validate what Roger Morneau says. You may have heard this clip before. Listen especially to what he says about something proper and the carefully followed recommendations.
Spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it.
Notice how Morneau is very vague about something proper. I don't think this was by accident. Since he is quoting the priest verbatim, it may be that even the priest did not know what it was when he announced it in the early 1900s. But today, it's almost painfully obvious what this proper thing could be. After all, what is science currently saying will be the cause of the destruction of the planet unless something proper is done? It's climate change and nuclear war. But for the sake of time, let's stick with one topic. Listen to the next clip from Roger Morneau's testimony.
That the spirits will show themselves willing to give valuable guidance that will not only help people avoid the destruction of the planet, but it would cause it to enter into a higher state of existence.
Even the media engine is switching into high gear to push the agenda for this decade. This is Charlie Chester. He's CNN's technical director. I can only surmise that Project Veritas catfished him on an intoxicating date to reveal the next big project that CNN will develop. You can probably guess what that next big project is before I play this clip.
They've already announced in our office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate like global warming, and like that's going to be our next I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of like decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy and really
Who
diving
decides that?
the head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council and they've all like discussed like where they think
So that's like the next.
pandemic like story like that will be to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a definitive ending to the pandemic, or like it'll taper off to a point that it's not a problem anymore. I think it's going to take years, so they'll probably be able to milk that for quite a bit.
So climate change overload.
Be prepared, it's coming. Stories, like right now, we had an inside track right now where two stories are going to be pushed. Climate change is going to be the next COVID thing for CNN. We're gonna hone in.
Focus on that.
I love it.
But that's a fair thing.
You saw that coming forever and it's always evergreen.
But to commit to that as a network,
You said it's going to be like the new COVID.
I feel like, well, that's the way it was built. Unless that was just a call to arms to get people to start writing and then we'll assess it. I don't know. But
Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of like fear, like climate?
yeah, fear sells.
Fear does sell. And that is exactly what demonic spirits want. Because not only does fear sell, but it also motivates change into agendas that damage your liberties and individual rights. But that's only half the story. If you think you can add more to this story or know how this will play out, leave me a comment below.